A strategy that I followed that has worked for me with Outsource Plug as well as many of my clients has been to find that first virtual assistant that you can develop to become the right-hand man. So I'll give you a couple of practical examples. So we work with a real estate marketing company who has scaled to over 40 virtual assistants, but it started with one girl who could basically master the job extremely well that she was doing, and then eventually start to teach other virtual assistants her job, and then move into other departments and learn those departments as well, and then start teaching other people. For my company, Outsource Plug, I have a guy whose name is Emmanuel. And Emmanuel, when he first started with me, he was originally just like an assistant. So he was just coming in to basically assist me with like emails, phone calls, just like basic things. And over the course of Emmanuel's journey with my company, he not only mastered his original position, but eventually we were able to move him into marketing. Eventually we were able to move him into operations as well as finance, HR, and pretty much at this point, he knows more about our company than anybody else. So now when we need to hire a new account manager, he knows how to train the account managers. When there's a problem within HR or a problem within recruiting, he understands and knows how to deal with all these problems as well. I have another client she is in debt collection, and there's a very specific type of debt collection that she handles, right? So it's debt collection that is assigned from judges, so like judgment collections. And she's been in this industry for years. And I remember when we first started talking about hiring her a virtual assistant, she had a lot of limiting beliefs that she wouldn't be able to hire somebody overseas or in Latin America to be able to handle these problems, because according to her, it takes years of understanding to get this, this thing done that she needed done. So we ultimately squashed those limiting beliefs, and here's how we did it. So first and foremost, I've been outsourcing now for over 6 years. I've been an entrepreneur for over a decade, and I understand people development. So the first thing that I knew was that I know that if I could learn the process, that we could teach somebody else the process. And after spending some time with her, I understood the process. I was able to do some research, and she basically said, yeah, this is exactly what I need. And I said, great, look, because I don't see myself as like the smartest person in the world, but when it comes to learning business processes, going through them and executing them, I'm extremely good at that. And one of the other things I'm extremely good at is developing myself into another person. So pretty much we hired 2 people to go through this research process, and we had a lot of fun with it. We treated it kind of like I don't know if you've ever seen the show Suits, but we kind of treated it like one of their breakdowns of like their cases, right? Where we would get a piece of research, and the research is so intricate where it's not just like a step-by-step thing and it's done. It really is something where you have to do a lot of complex thinking. You have to, think creatively when you are doing this type of research. And we were able to create kind of like a fun little game where everybody would bring their case, and we would like break it down and say, okay, here's this case, here's what I found, here's what I was struggling with. And pretty much everybody in the group would say like, hey, did you think about doing this? Or, you know what, that was a fantastic piece of research and we're gonna go for it. Because in her specific business, if you can dial down that research, which takes up 90% of the time, you can research 100 cases and find that maybe only 10 of them are good to go after. And if you can, for her, because we were able to get a virtual assistant to basically eliminate that part of the process, now she's able to focus on collections, right? And ultimately, for most entrepreneurs, if we're able to take off the busy work off of your plate so that you can focus on the result producing activities, that's better for everybody, right? Now, an example of another one of our clients. So we work with a client who is in IT, right? So this client originally, before we started working with them, they didn't believe that someone in the Philippines could do IT at the level that they needed. Mind you, they work with a lot of major companies. Like one of their clients is like the Oakland Athletics. So just to give you an example of like the size clients that they work with. And we were like, I don't know that specific job, but here's what I do know is that we were able to find somebody very high level for them, where the moment that they hired that virtual assistant, they basically fell in love with like her work ethic, her knowing of the job. And to this day, she's the #1 contributor to their knowledge base within their company, right? So again, it goes back to breaking these limiting beliefs, right? I think if you are, starting with a virtual assistant and you don't believe that it could work, then it's not going to work. But if you believe that, you know what, there's other companies that have got this done before and they've done it effectively, so how can I also do the same thing? I think if you have that kind of mindset, then it can work. And for me personally, when it comes to Outsource Plug, the last part of my company that I had wanted to outsource, I really didn't want to outsource this part of the company because it's so sacred to me, right? And I know for a lot of entrepreneurs, it's probably sacred for you too. And that part of the company is going to be the billing and the finance part. I wanted to do all the billing myself, and I wanted to develop all the invoices. I wanted to make sure that all the billing went through, and if there was ever any mistakes or anything, that I caught them or that they went through me. Also too, I was at one point, I was the only person who knew the actual revenue, the actual expenses, everything. And what I actually found was that once we hired somebody to handle that part of the business, not only did it free up a ton of my time, it was getting done better than what I was doing, than how I was doing it, right? And it's so cool now when I'm working with the girl who actually does all of our billing, all of our accounting. It's amazing. Like as a CEO now, if I need a report and I say, hey, can you pull me up a report of this one client and tell me what the lifetime spend of theirs is? Or hey, can you please pull me up every deal that we have in software and can you tell me the margins on those deals? Or hey, there's so many different random reports that I pull all the time. Hey, what are we trending for this next quarter based off the last 3 quarters? Hey, what does it look like our tax bill is going to be, over the next over this year, right? For what we have coming. Or hey, Lizelle, what does it look like? What does it look like in terms of, for how many people we hired? What are the bonuses going to be at the end of this year? There's so many different things that I can ask this person, and I think that that's one of my favorite parts of the business now that I've outsourced. That at first I was very scared to outsource, right? And again, this is somebody in the Philippines. I remember when I was starting Outsource Plug, and there was people who would tell me, man, don't trust people in the Philippines. They're going to steal from you. They're going to hack your bank accounts. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. None of it's ever happened. And on top of that, we have a company in the Philippines that actually employs people. So we have contracts that are legally binding. We have lawyers on staff, or on retainer, I should say. So we don't ever deal with these kind of problems. But yeah, so it's what is it that is holding you back in your business? What is it that you feel could be outsourced? What is it that's taking, a lot of your time, that when you're doing this, it's man, that this is a very low value task, meaning somebody else could do it. And also this task doesn't have to be done by somebody that's in the same room as you, in the same city, in the same state, right? What are those tasks that are happening? Because as entrepreneurs, we all have them. We all have them in some part of our business, right? So I'm going to challenge you to start thinking about, what are those things? Because again, we've hired, anything from your basic assistant all the way to software developers, .NET developers, Azure cloud engineers, Facebook ad managers. Oh, that's actually another really great story. We have another client who they focus on doing Facebook ads for major car dealerships across the United States. And what happened with them was they approached us because they said, hey, we hired this company in Colombia called Virtual Emily. And we had a really bad experience because when we hired them, they promised us that they would get people who knew what we were doing and they would find people who are capable of running and managing Facebook ad campaigns. But they ended up hiring us college students instead, and we had to basically teach these college students what to do, how to do it, and then they ended up leaving anyway. So we were able to not only find 2 people that already knew Facebook ad management. They already understood the Facebook ad manager. They knew how to set up campaigns. They knew how to basically do the entire process. So it was a lot more plug and play. And on top of that, these people have remained loyal. That client's been with us for over a year now. So again, what is it that is inside of your business that you think cannot be outsourced? I challenge you to think about that and respond to this video. Whether you're watching this on YouTube, you're listening to the podcast, or you're on social media, respond to this video and tell us, like, what is it that you think that you could be outsourcing within your business? But in any case, if you also have any questions, there's any videos you want us to make, just let us know. We're here for you. Hey, Scale with Anthony YouTube channel, Scalability podcast. Go follow, like, subscribe.